Hey boys, it's Harm9. Today we're going to be going over my picks for the top 10 Vapid vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now a lot of the Vapid vehicles have been removed from being able to be purchased in the game. However, Vapid is a great manufacturer and there are some absolutely phenomenal cars that you can still get and some cars that you need to look out for that are going to be coming into the dealerships, the LS Car Meet, very soon in GTA Online and that you are going to want to pick up. So anyways, let's go ahead and get it started off with number 10. At number 10, we have the original Vapid Dominator. Now this is going to run you $26,250 up to $35,000 if you want to purchase this thing off of Southern San Andreas Super Autos. However, you can of course steal it off the street, which is exactly how I would recommend getting the Dominator. This thing has insane performance for the money, or the lack of money rather. It's also got a decent amount of customization for being an OG 2013 release car. Overall, the package that you get with the OG Vapid Dominator is phenomenal. Like, this car looks pretty good even by today's standards. It's got some nice customization. The performance is crazy. It's got a super high top speed of like 125, 126 miles an hour. It's very fast in GTA for sure. I'm sure that for many of you, this was actually the first car that you picked in GTA Online as your initial car in the game. I stole one. I think everybody else probably did too. What a great vehicle. Vapid Dominator definitely deserves a spot on this list. Next up at number 9, we have an off-roader. This is of course the Vapid Riata, and it goes for $380,000. Now unfortunately, this is a removed vehicle, so you're going to be on the lookout for one of these to come back into the game through Simeon's dealership or the LS Car Meet, likely I would say. I don't think it's going to make it to the luxury dealership. But it is a phenomenal vehicle. It's super good off-road. It's got a ton of ground clearance. It has a lot of customization as well, by the way. So much that you can do to this thing. It's actually kind of incredible. And I feel like the Vapid Riata is a super underrated vehicle. And now that it's been removed from the game, I feel like it's even more underrated than it was initially. Obviously, the rarity of it is going to do something to that for sure. But whenever this thing gets added back into the game, keep your eyes peeled and make sure you guys pick one up. For only $380,000, it is an absolute steal of a vehicle, that's for sure. At number 8, we have the Vapid Liberator, coming in at $556,511. A very fun vehicle to have in GTA Online. Now unfortunately, you can't really purchase this thing outside of near Independence Day for the United States of America, which is of course July the 4th. So next July, if GTA 5 is still a thing, keep an eye out for the Vapid Liberator. A very fun vehicle. Obviously, it's based off of a monster truck, and it is a monster truck in GTA. It's actually pretty good performance-wise, especially it destroys the Marshall, which is the other monster truck in GTA. The Liberator is so much better, it handles so much better, and honestly I think it looks better too. It has insanely good cornering because of its super wide stance. It's actually very good off-road. It's surprisingly good up hills and stuff like that. It's pretty quick as well. Unfortunately, you can't upgrade it and do any sort of customization to it, which does kind of suck. But beyond that, the Vapid Liberator is an absolutely awesome vehicle that Vapid manufactures in GTA Online. Next up at number 7, we have another off-road style vehicle, and this is the Vapid Carrera 4x4, coming in at $875,000. This is a top 10 fastest off-road class vehicle for racing in Grand Theft Auto Online. So if you guys want a very fast off-road vehicle for racing in the game, or if you want a nice truck for cruising around in free mode that does have 4 doors, that has room for 3 other friends, or just random players in online, look no further than the Carrera. It's also got a very decent amount of customization on top of that. I think it's a super realistic looking truck too. It looks just like the Ford F-150, although it is a little bit too skinny in my opinion, but it is a impressive vehicle. It's got a lot of ground clearance, and the suspension is super responsive on this thing. That you're never going to get like absolutely knocked by a rock or anything like that. It soaks up a lot of bumps. It is a fantastic truck. Definitely look into the Carrera. Next up at number 6, for a little change of pace, we have the Vapid GB200, which is a rally car, and it goes for $940,000. Now it's an insanely good rally car for less than $1 million. For some reason, mine really likes to spin out, but I've never seen this issue with any other person's. So I'm not really sure what's going on with mine, but it is a pretty responsive car, and I did get a little bit better at driving it as I was recording this gameplay. The tail end of it is very happy, but it does perform relatively well in a straight line, and even around the corners. If you can kind of get control of how it spins, you will be able to turn corners very quickly in this vehicle. It also sounds really good. The customization is a little bit lacking, but it does have a few livery options, which does help quite a bit. Overall, the Vapid GB200 is a great rally car in the game, and it is definitely a car that I would recommend looking into for sure. Next up, we have the Vapid Imperator coming in at $1,718,000. All the way up to $2,284,940. Now this thing is very much so on the expensive side of things. However, it can be made into an arena war vehicle, meaning it could be a Future Shock, Nightmare, or Apocalypse variant, or you can just have a regular Imperator, which is pretty cool. Overall, I think it's a very decent looking car. You can also equip it with front mounted guns, which is pretty awesome. You can equip it with these side blades as well as a boost function. So it's got a lot of utility with it, which is why it has the higher price tag for sure. My biggest problem with the Imperator is it doesn't have a spoiler option, at least not one that I could find. So the traction is a little bit of an issue. It is a muscle car, so that is kind of to be expected, but it definitely could handle a little bit better, especially considering how much money it costs. But overall, it is a very fun vehicle. It's very unique, and it is definitely one that I would recommend looking into, and I bet that most of you guys have never even heard of it. It's a very underrated car. Definitely check it out. At number 4, we have the Vapid Dominator GTT coming in at $915,000 to $1,220,000. Now this is a top 10 fastest muscle car in the game. I would actually say it's probably top 7 if I'm being completely honest. The GTT is awesome. It came out with the Tuners DLC, so you already know it has a ton of customization that can be done to it. You can also stance the vehicle if you want to go a little bit faster in a straight line and handle just a little bit worse as well. It's got so much that you can do to it though, and the performance absolutely backs up the look. It looks phenomenal, by the way, I'm just going to say that right now. But it's super fast in a straight line, and it honestly has some of the best handling of any muscle car in the entire game, especially considering that it's based off of an old Mustang, like a 1967 to 69. It actually handles phenomenally well. Definitely look into the Dominator GTT. You can also use it in the Tuners subclass races, which is very helpful as well. At number 3, we have the Vapid Sand King XL, which is still available in Grand Theft Auto Online to be purchased for $45,000. However, I would of course recommend stealing it off the street if you can. Now it has insanely good value for an off-road vehicle considering that it's only $45,000. It has so much ground clearance, more ground clearance than pretty much anything else in the game, honestly, if I'm being truthful. It is a little bit slow acceleration wise, but that is going to help with climbing steep inclines because you don't want it to spin the wheels too much. It actually has a decent little amount of customization, which is nice, and overall it is a staple of GTA Online. I think everybody knows about the Sand King XL, so you knew it was going to be on this list for sure. Next up at number 2, we have the Vapid FMJ coming in at $1,750,000. This is the only Vapid supercar in the game other than the Bullet. The Bullet, though, let's be honest, it really should be a sports car. It's not that fast. I love the Bullet. I think it's such a sick looking car. I just wish it had some customization. But this is truly the only Vapid supercar that's actually in any sort of contention with any other supercar in the game. It actually has pretty decent performance, and when I was driving it to get this gameplay, I was actually very impressed. I forgot how good this car actually is. It's rear wheel drive only, but it handles very well. And I actually kind of like the rear wheel drive because it does allow you to slide the car a little bit, and it makes it just a little bit more engaging as far as the driving experience of the Vapid FMJ. It does have a little tiny bit of customization, not as much as it probably should have, but it does have a little bit, so I can't complain too much. Overall, the Vapid FMJ is definitely a great supercar, and this is another one to look out for to be re-added into the game because unfortunately it was removed when they took all those cars out on June 13th. For an honorable mention, we have the Vapid Contender coming in at $250,000, another removed vehicle. The Vapid Contender is a truck in GTA, but for some reason Rockstar decided to classify this as an SUV because it's in the SUVs category. Not really sure what they were thinking, but anyways, the Vapid Contender is a sleeper in GTA Online. This thing is super quick. It's got a lot of ground clearance as well. For some reason they made it a Vapid vehicle, even though I think it should be a Karin vehicle because it looks a lot like the Toyota Tundra in my opinion. But whatever, I guess. It's a Vapid vehicle in this game, for sure. The Contender doesn't have very much customization, unfortunately, but what it does have is, you know, nice as a canopy that you can throw on it, which is cool, I guess. Overall, it's a decent vehicle for off-roading and for free mode cruising for sure. this is another one to look out for when they re-add it into the game. But of course, at number 1, we have the Vapid Dominator ASP coming in at $1,331,250 up to $1,775,000 if you don't have the trade price. And the Vapid Dominator ASP is a top 5 fastest muscle car in GTA Online for racing. In the muscle category, this thing absolutely destroys a lot of the other muscle cars. It has such good handling as well, coupled with a pretty high top speed as well, and the ability to stance the vehicle as well to make it a little bit faster in a straight line with a little bit worse handling. And I gotta say, the handling when it's stanced is not even bad in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's perfect. The Dominator ASP is one of the most customizable vehicles in the game, and it by far is the most customizable Dominator in the entire game. I think it looks phenomenal. It looks just like the early 2000s Mustang GTs. It sounds pretty good. It looks great. The customization is awesome. The performance is awesome. There's absolutely nothing to dislike about the Vapid Dominator ASP. Anyway guys, there you have it. That is my picks. Those are my picks for the top 10 Vapid vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online. Let me know what you guys thought of my list in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.